Good afternoon, everybody. It's great to be in Spokane, believe me. I miss Eastern Washington. And before I talk about the aerospace business, let me just reflect a little bit on Spokane. As Rich mentioned, I grew up in the Tri-Cities. I'm from Richland, and growing up in the Tri-Cities in the 1950s, if you wanted to see a two-story building, you had to come to Spokane. And this is where we did our back-to-school shopping, if I recall correctly. We went up to Priest Lake every year, and of course we had to come through the city. I remember going to Boys State at Gonzaga, stayed at DeSmet Hall, and I remember how old that dormitory was. I understand people are still in that to this day. We played a lot of sports against the schools up here, West Valley, Central Valley, Gonzaga, Lewis and Clark and others, and I remember playing against Central Valley in the 1968 regional basketball tournament, which we lost. But that allowed me to have the first beer of my life at the Rid Path that evening. So I have a lot of memories about Spokane. But there's some great universities here as well. I think Boeing employs more Gonzaga graduates than any other company, and we're very proud of that. My successor at Boeing Commercial Airplanes, Ray Connor, he went to Whitworth. And we've got a lot of people that went to Eastern as well. One of my best friends at the company went to Eastern, and he's now one of our top salesmen down in South America. So we go way back at Boeing with Eastern Washington, and we're very proud of what they've done to help us. And not just with the employees we have, but also with the suppliers we have over here. I saw the collage out there of all the different suppliers we had from Eastern Washington supporting us and Boeing, and quite frankly, I didn't realize there were that many. I knew we have direct contracts with some 24 contractors over here, and I know there are dozens of others that support them. And I will tell you, building an airplane is truly a team effort. It takes everybody, working together. The supply chain is very complex, and everybody has to do things perfectly for us to deliver an airplane. But we have some great suppliers here. And I know I can't go through all of them, but Kaiser Aluminum, we've been doing business with them for decades, always do a great job. ATC Manufacturing, a small company. They build brackets for us that I think go in every airplane that we deliver. And then, of course, Triumph, which used to be part of the Boeing company, does a lot with composites, and they're one of our best suppliers, and they got an award last year for quality. They got our Excellence Award, which is something that we give to very, very few suppliers. I think, just a percent or two of the 17,000 suppliers we have get that award. Now, as mentioned by Rich, I did grow up in the Tri-Cities, and I went away to college, and I was going to major in history, and I got a C on my first test, so that didn't work out, so I decided to go into math and physics instead. And then I got this bright idea that, I want to build dams. So I went away to engineering school, and I majored in civil engineering. And, again, I hadn't really thought this one through, but when I got out, I found out that all the good dam sites in the world were already taken. So I did the natural thing. I became a rocket scientist. And rockets and dams are very similar. Dams, it's all about fluid flow and stress, and rocket engines are fluid flow, gas flow, and stress. So that all worked out pretty well. And over the years, though, I've had the opportunity to learn from some incredible leaders. And I don't think anybody, gets any place in this world without having people that cared about them and worked very hard to support them. And one of them is John Roker, which Rich mentioned. And, understand that because John is the next door neighbor to Rich, he's kind of a minor celebrity in town. Is that right? Is that the way it works here? If you know Rich? That's what I thought. But early in my career, I worked for John. And, I ran the process engineering group, and, John had me come in at lunchtime every day to talk, and, I thought I was there to tell John what was going on, but I was really there for John to teach me how to be an engineer. And certainly there's a lot more to being an engineer than the numbers. In engineering, the numbers, they have to be right. People's lives depend on what we do. And certainly if people's lives don't depend on what we do, business cases do. And I learned that all from John. And I also learned that engineering, wasn't a job for the faint of heart or the impatient, because it takes a long time to get things right, to satisfy the customers that we have. And also learned what a great profession it is, working as a team to create something that never existed before. And I really do believe that engineering is a great profession because, our job is to make life here on Earth better. And I think that's what we do. And, it's interesting, people ask me, what they should do to get ahead. And I always give them the same answer. I said, pick your bosses carefully. And I always refer to John, work with somebody who will help you get better, who will teach you what you need to know when you take the next job